Is it possible to get good results in your business, in your relationships, in your health, in your overall peace of mind and happiness as a human being? Can you get good results in your life without having to force yourself to do things that you don't actually want to do? Now, yes, of course, growing yourself as a human being does require you to move out of your comfort zone. It requires you to try new things that you haven't done before. You can't just stay in your old habits and do the same old things that you've done in the past in order to get new results in the future. So, of course, personal development and self actualization, becoming the best version of yourself, is about moving out of your comfort zone and trying new things. But a big trap that many people fall into, myself included, is that when we try to grow ourselves, we do it in a very heavy handed, clumsy, forceful kind of way where we, for example, work out at the gym, but we work out way too hard for 2 hours, 3 hours until we're sore, and then we end up injuring ourselves. So this is something that I used to do a lot, is whenever I would try to change my life, I would oscillate between these two extremes of trying way too hard to get results and forcing myself to do things until I ended up burning out. And then the other extreme was not making any effort at all and just vegging out like a lazy potato and just playing video games and jacking off a million times in a row. That also doesn't get you results. So what we're going to be talking about here in this video is something that has taken me a very, very long time, over 8 years of trial and error, falling off the cliff of going way too extreme and then falling off the other cliff of not trying at all. I've been able to, over time, find a very gentle and harmonious sort of middle way for myself where I do make effort in my business and my relationships, my health, my exercise, my reading habit, my meditation, and I make progress in all of these things every single day. But I do so in a way that feels fun, that feels authentic, that feels spontaneous, that feels real. It's fresh. It's not forced. It's not like I'm like dreading my meditation or I'm dreading my exercise so that, I end up skipping it. It's more so it's something that's actually very natural and has integrated itself into my way of being. And it's easy and fun, and I actually enjoy exercising and eating healthy and making celery juice every morning and meditating and chanting and doing these things that are very good for my peace of mind, my happiness, and they make me feel really good. I've been able to kind of find a spontaneous balance of how to figure it out. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. This is very reminiscent of the Buddha's story, but instead of telling you the Buddha's story like I always do, how the Buddha discovered the middle way, I'll actually just tell you a little bit about how I discovered the middle way. When I was 16 years old, I was just like extremely addicted to video games, porn, smoking weed, doing nothing all day, just like wasting my energy. And I found that this made me depressed and I felt like I was wasting my life. So then I went online, I discovered self-actualization, personal development, spirituality, and I learned about things like meditation, eating healthy, reading books, exercising. And then I started implementing those habits in my life, but immediately I ran into many obstacles because the problem was I struggled with staying consistent with the new habits that I was installing. And whenever I would fall off track, so let's say I would meditate for a week, if I'd miss one day, I would just plunge down into a deep, dark pit of guilt and despair and self-pity where I would just hate myself, and I would journal about why can't I stay consistent? What the hell is wrong with me? I ruined everything. So I would relapse back into my old way of being, which would just end up with me playing video games, watching porn, smoking weed, eating junk food over again, So my growth journey over the last 8 years has been a lot of this up and down, up and down, up and down. And I've talked about in the past that this is actually to be expected. Okay? There's nothing wrong with you. Every single human, when they are growing themselves, it's not this linear progression of from point A of my, terrible life now to linear progression up to point B, my amazing life in the future. That's not how it works. It's usually this rocky road of up, down, feeling amazing and then falling off track and relapsing and then picking yourself back up and trying again and then relapsing again. And this happens like hundreds of times. So you should expect that. This is not a bug. This is a feature. There's this saying that the master has tried and failed more times than the beginner has even thought about trying. So this is what I discovered for myself. I was very lucky to have a great mentor, Leo Gura on actualize.org, who was just making these awesome videos every single week that was re-inspiring me every single week to pick myself back up and to then, push myself to grow. So the problem that I was running into over and over and over again in varying degrees of extremity for the last 8 years was that I had this problem of being too forceful with myself and thinking that in order to get results in my business, for example, then that means that I need to force myself to do things that I don't authentically want to do. So as a practical example in my business, there is tons of marketing information that I've absorbed because I was trying to learn, how do I market myself? How do I sell products? How do I sell coaching? So there's like a million people on the internet all shouting at you, telling you that they have the best model, the best system. Use this headline, use this marketing framework, use this funnel, use this email template, and that'll fill your business up with clients. So I studied a lot of this. And I tested and did a lot of trial and error. And over again, there was this feeling of like, it's not authentic. And I'm forcing myself into a certain model, into a certain framework. I'm trying to shove my holistic state of being, my authentic expression as a human being with all of my diverse interests and passions and ideas and hobbies and all of this. I was trying to shove all of that into one marketing framework because someone told me that this is the $1 million framework that has made me and my clients millions of dollars. So in business is where I learned this lesson of like, you can actually make a lot more money by chilling out a little bit and finding this balance point of, I'm still going to make effort, like I'm still going to make content to market myself. I'm still going to have some sort of offer, but all of this is going to be done in a very authentic way that is coming from my heart, that is not like told to me by some marketing guru because he has the $1 million system. I'm going to still maybe do a little bit of research into marketing, and I'm still going to learn the basics of like, how do I have a headline for my program or whatever it is. But my trap that I fell into, I was doing way too much research, and then I was trying to copy other people, and that led to me being inauthentic. And then what happens, you're being inauthentic when your life starts to feel forced. So when you wake up in the morning and you like you peel yourself out of bed and you force yourself to go through your morning routine so that you can go to work or so that you can go to school or whatever that is, if your whole life feels forced, like you need to force yourself to make videos, to market your business, or you need to force yourself to meditate, or you need to force yourself to exercise, there is a time and a place where in the beginning, when you're first starting off, there's a little bit of forcing that needs to do just to break the inertia of your old habits. So there's like a little bit of like forcing. But what happens for many of us is that we go way too far to the extreme of like trying to maintain this like attitude of forcing myself to go to the gym every single day for 2 hours, and forcing myself to make content for my business every single day, forcing myself to do sales calls even if I don't want to, forcing myself to have meetings even if I don't want to, so making shorts even if I don't want to, or making offers and selling products even if I don't want to, or running ads even if it doesn't feel authentic to me, or even if I don't want to. So you kind of can tell that you're moving a little bit off track in your life if you notice this like attitude of like there's too much forcing and you start to run out of energy. So I'm going to use a very simple example of exercise. Recently, I have been doing this form and style of exercise that I've been, I think, discovering over the last few years, where the way that I exercise is very organic and very authentic, and it's sort of just like me listening to my body. So my body's here, it's very intelligent, my body wants to be moved, it wants to be exercised, and I'm actually going to trust that my body is just going to tell me how it wants to be moved and how it wants to be exercised. So sometimes my body actually wants to just do some push-ups. And it wants to be pushed a little bit, but it doesn't want to be pushed like to the extreme where like it hurts me and then I burn out and then I don't ever want to do push-ups ever again. So there's this middle way that I find between effort and surrender. This is what the Buddha story is. I'll tell the Buddha story in a second. You stay tuned for that. I've told it a bunch of times here, but the middle way between effort and surrender is like when I'm exercising. I learned a little bit of this from the guy Mike Chang, who's great. He used to do six-pack shortcuts, but he does more like conscious exercise now. He talks about, just do it every single day in the morning, or at least once a day. Do some exercise, but you don't have to go crazy with your reps and your sets. If you want to do 3 push-ups, then start with 3 push-ups. Listen to your body. If you want to do 2 squats, start with 2 squats. Start with a couple leg raises. Do some pike push-ups, some jumps. Do a little jog. So you want to listen to yourself. What does my body want to do today? You're not working out based on your schedule that your fitness guru from YouTube told you to follow this schedule and then you'll make gains and eat chicken and rice every day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You don't need to follow someone's plan or someone's schedule. That can be good when you're like first starting off from complete scratch and you've like never done any exercise ever in your entire life and you just need some framework to like get yourself in there. But after you've been exercising for a little while and you kind of get the basics of like, okay, I know how to do a push-up, I know how to do a squat, I know how to do lunges, I know how to do pull-ups, like I know how to do basic exercises, then I recommend loosening the framework a little bit and open up more space for your body to actually speak to you and actually tell you what does it want to do. And don't be ashamed of quitting early. My friends, they always kind of make fun of me a little bit, but we have this kind of joke where the way Michelli works out, right? It's like, oh, Michelli, the way he works out, he goes to the gym, couple push-ups, couple pull-ups, maybe jog a little bit, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then he's out in like, 15, 20 minutes. And they laugh about it because it's kind of funny. And it's true. That actually is, in many cases, how I actually work out, because I found just like I've done workouts before where I've done 2-hour workouts. I was on the wrestling team. I was on the rugby team. I would work out twice a day, long hours, deadlifts. Like I know how to work out. But as I've done a lot of meditation and I've been cultivating this quality of like being in the middle path, of still being there, still showing up, still focusing, still paying attention, but not being too overly forceful about it. There's this middle way that you find in meditation, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, this is what I discovered for myself for my workout, and I find that it's more sustainable, it's more fun, it's more relaxing. I enjoy it more, and I stay more consistent where every single day I don't have a problem exercising for 15, 20 minutes until I start sweating. And, and then the second my body tells me, okay, Adam, you're done for now. You did a good workout, you got the blood pumping, you have a little pump. Okay, you're good. Continue your life, right? You don't gotta overstay your welcome and like push it to the extreme, because that's how you burn out. So I want you to really reflect and contemplate in your life, like where you're either not making any effort at all, or when you're actually making too much effort. This is something that's not talked about in our culture. In our hustle culture, we have this idea is like, if you work 18 hours a day, great, that's better. You're going to outwork your competition. Or like just do more, do more, do more, do more. But there's actually an intelligent balance of doing more and doing less. This is the flow, right? That's how you tap into the flow state, where you challenge yourself a little bit, you push yourself. It's called leaning out of your edge, leaning out of your comfort zone. You're not just completely jumping into the deep end where you traumatize yourself and then you never want to do it ever again. It's just gentle little increments, right? Start with 2 push-ups. Start with 1 squat. Start with 5 minutes of meditation. Read 1 page a day. Read 1 paragraph a day. Have 1 conversation with 1 stranger. Or just say hi. Hello. You can make 1 Instagram post, right? So this attitude of the middle way. I'm going to drink some water. Yeah. So how do you find the middle way for yourself? So the first key for discovering the middle way for yourself is awareness. And what is the middle way? What does that mean? Let me tell the Buddha story. Okay, so the Buddha was a king. He was actually a prince who lived 2,600 years ago. And he lived a very opulent lifestyle where he kind of had everything he wanted. He had sex with, all these different maids and women. He could have sex with any woman he wanted in his palace. He played games all day. He had entertainment. He had abundant riches, abundant food. He just lived this abundant, opulent lifestyle. And the way the story goes is that one day he stumbled across a man who was very old and he was dying. So he discovered the truth of old age, the 3 marks: old age. And then he saw someone who was sick, and then he saw someone else who was dead. So those were the 3 marks. It's impermanence. Life is growing older. You're growing older. You're going to die. And it's not going to last forever. So impermanence. And then unsatisfactoriness, which is represented by the sickness, the sick person. Life is just not satisfying the way you think it is. And then the last one is non-self, or death. So these are things you may realize yourself. These are things I realized myself when I was playing video games all day when I was 16 years old. It's not permanent. The satisfaction isn't permanent. When I watch porn, it doesn't last forever. I finish up and then it's like I'm just like, now what? I'm still not satisfied. So that's the second one, unsatisfactoriness. And then the last one is non-self, which is death, becoming aware that you're going to die. I remember I had a moment where I was listening to Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, and there's this song, Breathe. And there's this part of the song where, it might have been Time, where he was saying, long you live and high you fly, only if you ride the tide, balanced on the biggest wave, racing towards your early grave. And I remember that like literally triggered like a mini panic attack in me, because I was just sitting there like doing the same thing every single day, just titillating myself with dopamine. And then I realized, oh fuck, I'm gonna die, and I can't just sit here and just waste my life doing this garbage all day. I need to do something about this. So what the Buddha did is, for 7 years, when he discovered, the 3 marks in his own life, is he left his palace and he decided to go to the extreme of spiritual realization. So he stayed with these yogis who were ascetics, and the way they would live is they would go to the extreme to try to awaken themselves. So they would like not eat any food at all, or they would live on 1 grain of rice per day. They wouldn't shower. They wouldn't wash themselves at all. They would meditate for 24 hours a day. They wouldn't sleep. They would sleep on beds of nails, or like rough. They would wear rough clothes, and they would have all the bugs bite them and stuff. So they would basically not take care of themselves. They were too forceful with the way that they were attaining awakening, or at least trying to. So this is what the Buddha did for 7 long years. And ironically, this is kind of what I did for 7 long years, being too forceful. And then one day he was sitting in meditation, or at least trying to meditate, but he couldn't focus properly because he was starving, he was dirty, he smelled, his hair was all knotted, there was bugs crawling over him. So he couldn't really meditate properly because he wasn't healthy. And he was like, what the hell is this? This isn't working. And then there was a river nearby, and there was a man who was with his son, and they were fishing. And his son was playing the lute, which is like this little mini guitar. And as the fishing boat was passing by the Buddha, as he was sitting there, he just overheard a conversation between the man and his son. He said, "Remember, son, don't tune it too tight, or otherwise the string will snap. But also don't tune it too loose, because then it won't play at all." So the second the Buddha heard this, he had an epiphany. And he realized, oh my God, not too tight, not too loose. Middle path. Oh my God. So he had the realization of the middle path. And then he ended up renouncing his ascetic lifestyle. He went to go take a shower. He went to go eat some food. He went to rest. He got good sleep. He got sun on his skin. He put on good clothes, good quality clothes, right? And then finally, after a month, after he nursed himself back to health, then, now that he was healthy, he went to go sit under the Bodhi tree for 40 days and 40 nights. And then for him, that was the middle path, where he would stay centered, where he still exerted himself in the practice of meditation, but he was healthy and he still took care. He was gentle with himself. He was gentle and kind to himself. Then, through that practice, he attained the highest awakening, and he became the Buddha, or the awakened one. And he realized the nature of existence. He realized that he was one with all things. He freed himself from dissatisfaction and emotional confusion and suffering. He was just the fully awakened one. And then he went on to live the rest of his life teaching others how to awaken by following the middle path. And then he was talking about the Eightfold Path as well, which is a whole other thing, which I don't have memorized, by the way. I'm a bad Buddhist. I'm actually not a Buddhist. I'm just a person who likes Buddhism. Buddha just means the awakened one. So Buddhism is just the study of how to become an awakened one. But I'm also interested in a lot of different spiritual practices, and I think there's some inkling and some quality of the middle way in other spiritual traditions as well. But that's what we're talking about here. How do you find that middle way for yourself? So it's different for everyone. That's the thing with the middle way, and that's why it doesn't work if I just tell you what to do. Like, you meditate for 20 minutes a day, don't miss a day, right? That's actually a pretty good practice to start with. 20 minutes a day, don't miss a day, but that advice is not going to help you. What's actually better is to give you general principles. Like, yes, if you want to self-actualize and you want to become the best version of yourself, you're going to need to be exercising your body. You're going to need to be moving the energy. But how you exercise your body, that's up to you, right? It might be yoga. It might be martial arts. It might be Mike Chang's workout that I recommended. So look for that middle path where try to do it every day, but don't do it too hard to the point where it hurts you. Do it a bit, and then you might say, well, Adam, if I do it a bit, then I'm not going to get results. I'm not going to get those big muscles. And then the girls aren't going to like me, and then I'm not going to be proud of myself, and then I'm not going to have an aesthetic body. And then so that's exactly the mentality that we're trying to gently purify, because this mentality of over ambition, of like needing to being afraid that like if I don't get jacked, then I'll be a waste. Many people, the reason why they go to the gym and they overwork out is because they're actually compensating for maybe they don't feel good about themselves, they don't feel confident, they feel like they're lacking love in their life, they're lacking self-love first and foremost, and then they're lacking appreciation and approval from others. So they're working out for the purpose of getting approval. So whenever you're forcing yourself and you're overdoing something and you're burning out, the ego is there. The selfishness, the fear, the need for something external to you to satisfy you. So instead, what I'm saying here is that instead of looking for the end result to satisfy you, like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to work out and I'm going to hate it and I'm going to do all these exercises that I hate and I'm going to grind and I'm going to fight and I'm going to push myself through these workouts, but then it'll be worth it at the end because then I'll have a good body. But what I've discovered actually is that many people who work out that way, they actually end up having pretty similar results to what I have. And my body looks great, and it's very balanced, it's very toned, it's not too much muscle, but it's also, there's basically no fat. Like, I got abs, I got nice biceps, like, I'm very satisfied with the way I look. And I do this sort of light workout style that I was talking about before. So, and the reason why I'm able to get these results is because I'm able to stay consistent, and because I'm not scared of working out, because I don't punish myself when I'm at the gym by striving towards a mental goal and making the process as painful as possible. So what I want you to take away from this video is ask yourself, how can I make the process of achieving my goals and self-actualizing, exercising, reading, working on your business, working on your social skills, your relationships, your health, your diet, creating art, meditating. How can I make this process fun and relaxing, actually, and peaceful? And realize that if I don't try that hard, that doesn't mean that I'm just going to be a lazy bum. Because that's the number one fear, is that if I let loose my death grip on my life, if I don't, have myself by the neck with the kinds of habits I'm doing, if I don't force myself to do it, then my life is going to slide back into that terrible place of just overindulgence and, it's complacency and the status quo. And I don't want that. I'm afraid of that. So I'm going to have myself in a death grip to crawl my way out of this, and then I'm gonna achieve success in the far future if I just work out hard enough and I grind and I sweat and I work 12 hours a day on my business and I approach 30 girls every time I go out, and I force myself to do it, and I eat, only this one, only meat, or like only this, so this, it's not going to work for you. One side note I wanted to make about the middle path is that diet is actually not something that you want to skimp on. So if you're going to be serious about basically any of your habits, you gotta take your diet seriously, because if you're not fueling yourself with the right food, your whole energy system is going to be messed up, and nothing is going to work. So diet is like the root, the foundation. If you want to know my advice for diet, I actually made a video a while back called Diet for Spirituality. Check that out. But what I do is actually Anthony Williams' diet, which is, he's the medical medium. I do his morning cleanse with lemon water in the morning, celery juice every morning, and then I have a smoothie. It's like with blueberries and bananas and spirulina and barley grass juice powder and dulse and cilantro. It's the heavy metal detox smoothie. That's what I do every morning. Then for lunch, and for lunch I'll have like more fruit, like an apple or something like that. And then for dinner I'll usually eat like cooked vegetables or steamed vegetables, like potatoes, zucchini, mushrooms, peppers, cauliflower, cabbage, like vegetables. Okay, lots of them. I'll have rice too a bit, I'll have beans too a bit, but just eat lots of vegetables until you're full. And like till you're really like you're full, and then for the rest of the night just drink water, and you'll be good. You won't be missing key things. You might want to have some vitamin B12. But Adam, do you eat meat? No, I don't eat meat, because there's other reasons. We're not going to go into that in this video, but yeah, you don't want to sacrifice your diet. So you don't want to say, so this is the point I wanted to make about the middle way, is that the problem with thinking that, okay, I'm going to do the middle way, so okay, I'm just going to like go get drunk every Saturday, because it's the middle way. Adam said, just chill out, I'm going to go get drunk, I'm going to have sex with random people, I'll just watch a little bit of porn, or I'll just eat a little bit of bread, or I'll just like have a bowl of cereal, once in a while, because the middle way, right? No, the problem is that your middle, like you're already, your starting point is way too far on the looseness end, where you're eating crap, you have no discipline with, you're drunk, you're chasing, external validation all the time, constantly. So the middle way is not just like a little bit of alcohol. There's certain things that I recommend being strict about. And then what happens is that the middle way becomes natural. So like for me, for example, I don't drink alcohol ever. I also don't like steal, for example, or I don't kill living beings. So this is a Buddhist thing, the precepts. So all I'm trying to say is that balance is something that is something that it's hard to like wrap your mind around, and you don't want to balance by like balancing just a little bit of bullshit in your life, like getting drunk or this kind of stuff that's like you smoking, a little bit of cigarettes, like certain things you're better off just not having in your life. And then from there, I'm saying to do your healthy habits, but to do them in an authentic, natural, organic sort of way. Really listen to your highest excitement. So this connects with following your highest excitement, following what's fun, following your intuition in the moment, not doing things that in your gut are going to lead you down the wrong path. Like setting boundaries with yourself. Like, for example, if you always go hang out with your friends, and every single time you go, you have this feeling in your gut like it's not a good idea, then you should start listening to your gut. So this connects with the idea of following your highest excitement, and balance is something that is relative, and that you need to just keep in mind not to like have this like the fool's balance, or like, yeah, I'll just, I'll only watch porn once a day, or just balance it out, or like I'll only smoke one joint a day, right? So I'm not saying porn, certain things like porn, like cigarettes, like alcohol, those things, you just don't want to have that in your life at all. There's some things you're better off just not having. And the secret to quitting these addictions that I've found is that if you do the other things that make you feel good, right? So when you quit cigarettes, you need to like actually like force yourself to quit for a couple days a week, okay? But then the rest of your life, you need to install good feeling habits that make you feel good. The point of self-actualization is that you feel good about your good habits. That's how they stick. If you're having trouble sticking your good habits, it's because they don't feel good for you. You need to actually enjoy making celery juice. You need to actually like it. You need to like exercising, because you're going to be gentle with yourself. You're still going to push a bit, but you're going to be gentle. You need to actually like meditating. It feels good to sit and be quiet for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or to pray. It actually feels good to make content and market your business. It actually feels good to sign clients and do business deals and deliver good results that's related to something I'm actually passionate about. It feels good to have healthy habits. Once in a while, it feels good to take a cold shower. So you're doing the healthy habits because they actually inherently feel good to do. You might say, Adam, it doesn't feel good to take a cold shower. Yeah, but doesn't it feel good to just like push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit? Once in a while, to jump in a cold pool, feel alive. Like, so you want to do things that make you feel alive. You want to do things that make you feel awake, that make you feel clear and present and fun and happy and connected to the moment. That's how you know if something is good for you or not. Is this thing making me feel alive and present and there and good, or is it making me feel like groggy and lethargic, and it's making like it's like this whole vibe of like repression? Is it making me feel sleepy, or is it making me feel awake? That's a good metric for what you should do in your life. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is basically how to actually follow your highest excitement. This is how you're going to organize your life in this middle path, in this synchronistic sort of way. This is a very difficult topic because it's very subtle and nuanced. Following your highest excitement is something that a lot of people get wrong, because they think that, okay, well, I'm excited to like play this addicting video game, so let's do it, right? But when we're talking about following our highest excitement, a lot of times you don't have enough awareness, and I've fallen into this trap as well, to actually differentiate between something that's actually not really exciting you, but more so frustrating you and addicting you and just like guilting you, like making you feel bad. So that's not really excitement. That's more so like stimulation. So that's a different thing. When I'm talking about your highest excitement, I'm actually talking about this feeling of like, it should feel peaceful. It should feel calm. It should feel relaxing. It should feel exciting in the sense of like, I'm excited to go run in the field. I'm excited to go for a swim in the cold water. I'm excited to create a beautiful song. I'm excited to go for a walk. I'm excited to kiss my loved ones. So that's what I'm talking about, excitement. I'm talking about the higher form of excitement where it actually makes you feel clear and awake and connected to life. It's like the higher excitement is what you should follow, not the lower cravings and urges that are just coming from your body and your cells, which have actually become addicted to a certain level of stress in your system. So the reason why you're excited to smoke a cigarette is because your cells are actually addicted to it. And you're not actually excited, but you're more so anxious that if you don't smoke it, something's wrong. So when we're following our highest excitement, that we're not, just relapsing into like old patterns of repression and avoidance. I actually recommend quitting those things cold turkey and then installing other healthy habits gently over time, bit by bit. A little bit of meditation, a little bit of eating healthy, which is key. Anthony Williams' diet, he's the best. I'm gonna make another video about it because he's the best diet on earth by far. I know every single person tells you that diets, this diet, that diet, this. No. This is the best diet, I'll tell you. Absolutely the best. We'll talk about it in another video. So yeah, that's how you follow your highest excitement. You want to meditate and be calm so that you can actually listen to the voice of your intuition. And this is how you be gentle, and this is how you actually make progress in your life, in your self-actualization, in creating a life that you're passionate about, where you get to work in a way that you're excited to work, and you're having fun. If everything you do in your life, if you make the process of everything you do in your life as fun as possible, then you're going to have a fun life. And that includes making money. That includes talking to other people, dating. That includes eating food, right? Maybe you need to sing a little song as you eat your food. So yeah. If this is a topic that really interested you, then consider joining my mailing list. It's my newsletter where I send out weekly articles, and also we have community gatherings. So a new thing I'm doing is weekly community gatherings. If you're on my mailing list, you'll get notified of when those gatherings are. Right now, they're happening on every Sunday at 1 p.m. EST, but the time might change in the future. But yeah, so just so you know when it is, join that mailing list because we'll hang out, we'll talk about this in person. And what this channel is all about is helping you to awaken and helping you to become the best version of yourself by actually doing self-actualization in a very deep way that actually works, that actually gets you results so that you can actually embody the fullest expression of your potential. That's what we're talking about, being your fullest self in your life. So that's what we're talking about here. I hope you like this video. Stay tuned for more, and otherwise I'll see you in the next one.